the engine oil is draining very nicely. It's been, I'll just leave it for a good while. I might even leave it overnight. Just into this dirty old bucket here. It's actually reasonably clean. It's only been in there a couple of months, but I do change my oil every 8 weeks. Now the final drive fluid, my goodness me, that was a mess, a real mess. It's a very good job I've decided to do this job. Let's crawl underneath here. See, there's like thick foam, like gungy jelly. Look at that hanging there, look. Ugh. So you can see the trail that's blown off in the wind. That's the consistency it should be. But we have a like a thick foam. Look at that, it's like sticky treacle. There's two consistencies. I'm not really sure. I suspect somebody's put the wrong oil in it at some point. I don't know. But look at that. It's like blobby sort of treacle. But it should be thin and watery. Well, it's not watery, but you see we've got two consistencies coming out here. And one's a foam and it's thick, and the other one's like amber, and it's running reasonably freely. Because honestly, it was just like thick lumps came into the pan here. I'll have to move that. The wind's catching it. It's going everywhere. Never mind. But what a nightmare. If we look inside, look, there's all. That's the inside of the plug. The plug goes in the bottom. Look at that, it's got like lumpy foam. It's just bizarre. And that was a real bugger to get out. Very, very difficult. That hasn't been out for some time. How long that's been there, I just don't know. You know, I've been through the history, and there's no mention of changing the fluid. It's the right colour, but the consistency is completely wrong. Oh dear, this is awkward. Let me crawl out. I'm squashed on the pavement. Oh, goodness me. Here's the pan, not the pan. This goes on the bottom of the back axle. These bolts actually bolt onto the differential. These four here, and these actually these holes to be able to get onto the grease nipples of the suspension arms. You got four of them. Obviously, each one goes to a coil spring. So yeah, so you can get actually grease through here. At some point, this has got to split. I don't know how or what could have possibly happened to it. Somebody's rather roughly and crudely welded. Look at the state of that. Looks like a big blob of chewing gum. At some point, I will grind that off, and I will weld it very carefully and grind the weld flat. There's no, yeah. What a bloody mess. You know, it just looks like a lump of chewing gum. I cannot imagine how that crack happened, but you know, that's the state of the welding. But that's nothing serious. I'll come to that at some point. I don't think I'm going to be painting this whilst I've got it off. It's more important things to be doing. But at some point I'll come back and I'll paint this, and I'll certainly grind that. But yeah, what a, you know, my final drive differential oil was like bloody foam. Well, some of it, look at that, it looks like frog spawn. Some of it was like foam, thick treacle, and some of it was the correct consistency. I don't know what's happened. Whether it's possible somebody's put the wrong grade of oil in, of altogether. It's possible that the two oils have reacted with each other and caused a foam. It's not filthy, so there's been no abrasive sort of metallic particles in this. I don't think it's actually worn anything, but I'm really pleased I've decided to sort of flush that out. I did say that I was going to let's crawl back under. I did say I was going to change the gasket, and I do have a gasket, but it's not going to be possible with the axle in the car. I did say on the previous film I was going to undo these bolts and take that pan off. You know, there's about 10 bolts. But to be honest with you, with the axle in situ, it's completely impossible to get to. About 6 at the top. I can get to that one. I can get to that one. But this one, even at the bottom here, this part of the axle's in the way. You can't get to it. It's the suspension cage. You just can't get to it. And you know, there's about 6 around the top. There's just no way. Even I probably could get to a couple up here if I really fished about. But it's that one there. You just can't even get an open-ended spanner on it. So I'm just going to have to grit my teeth and leave that gasket in place. I'll clean it all down. And I'm going to be putting gasket conditioner and seal conditioner in there and leave it in, because it's possible these seals lead into the These are the drive shafts that go to the wheels. Yeah, there's a behind there somewhere, behind the brake disc. There's a. You really, honestly, would not want to be stripping that down. It's an axle out, complete, total suspension rebuild just to change those seals. So they will have to remain original. I'm just going to put the gasket seal in. Oh, excuse me, crawling out again. Oh dear. I'm just going to have to leave it in there and cross my fingers and hope for the best. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it wouldn't have been fine for much longer with that bloody foam. You know that. You know, I've got foam for transmission oil. No final drive oil. The transmission oil is going to get changed separately. Yeah, the final drive oil. Okay, let me just turn this off.